We're less than a week away from the return to class, and for many as well, the return to work. And getting back into the habit of keeping a sleeping schedule should get everyone back on the right foot, especially for the busy months ahead. So joining us to talk about different ways to get your kids ready for back to school is Sarah Murphy, a certified sleep consultant. Sarah, I was just telling you on the morning show, we love talking about sleep because we feel like we never get enough of it. But it's so important for your health and well-being, especially for kids who have been out of the routine for the last couple of months.
Absolutely. So, I mean, sleep is foundational for child development, right? So when your kid is sleeping, their brain is working in overdrive. They are processing memory, they're building resilience, they are well, apologies.
No,
Sorry.
it's all good. They're dealing with emotions. I think that's
they're regulating
too,
their
right?
emotions, and they're building new skills. And so when your child is not getting enough sleep, you're going to see the ripple effect there. You're going to see things like poor attention span. You're going to see mood swings, right? Those meltdowns that we want to really avoid. And so getting good sleep for this time of year, for back to school, is so important. You obviously have your kindergartners who the demands are going up now. We're all of a sudden asking them to sit still, to focus. And
to listen properly.
Exactly, and to manage those emotions that they haven't been used to doing for such long periods. So getting good quality sleep is so important right now.
It's a time of transition for so many people, and this time of year I find it's really key to start making those changes to get ready for next week. So what's your recommendation for parents and for kids to start the process?
So firstly, you want to ease into it. The last thing you want to do is the night before school just throw them in at the deep end. Like, you know, we've all loosened our routines over the summer. I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah.
It's very normal, but we don't want it the night before sleep just put them to bed at 7 o'clock and hope for the best, because what we're going to get is that pushback. So you want to move gradually. You want to maybe start tonight if you can. If you haven't already, start pulling that bedtime back by like 15, 30 minutes until you reach that desired bedtime to give them a chance. We're going to get less pushback, less meltdowns when the time comes.
Yeah, and you don't want them to feel overwhelmed and exhausted on the first day of school when those emotions are already running so high, right?
Yeah, we're going to deal with meltdowns starting school regardless. So why not give them the best foot forward? This is really going to set them up for success if they're getting the sleep that they need.
On success, routine's really key. I know that's the case for me with my kids. We know what we do, you know, the bath, the book, try and get, you know, a calmer environment. What's your advice for that one, how we can start to develop a really effective routine?
Yeah, so the bath, all of that is really helpful, especially when you've got much smaller kids. When it gets to older kids, I like to look at the 3 C's of sleep. That's kind of how I implement it. So we want to look at a calm, a consistent, and a connection-based bedtime routine. So we want the activities to be calming. So think puzzles, Lego. Bath time is wonderful, but don't feel like you have to do it, especially for school-age kids. You might get a bit of pushback there.
Yeah.
But as long as we're winding down and protecting that wind-down routine, so avoiding screens if
That's
possible.
a big one, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's hard, especially, again, we've loosened our routines over summer. Maybe they've gotten more than they're used to, but we don't want meltdowns happening at this time, because what's going to happen with the screens is that blue light is going to delay melatonin, and melatonin is what helps us with that sleepy hormone, or it's that sleepy hormone that actually helps us feel ready for sleep and to stay asleep. So we want to reduce screens at least an hour before bedtime, but ideally 2 hours if you can. And then when I say connection-based, I'm talking about getting involved in some of those activities that I mentioned. So I'm not saying like for 2 hours before bed, I need you sitting there playing Legos and really giving that one-on-one time. Nobody has time for that when we're all working. But really for that last stretch before bed, if you can get involved in some of those activities, get down on their level, play with the Lego, play puzzles, anything that they might enjoy that's nice and calming, they're going to feel more connected to you. And when they feel connected to you in that stretch before bedtime, they are going to be more settled and the battles are going to be a lot less likely.
That's great advice. Very quickly, the protect your wake time. I understand this is the secret our parents need to be listening for.
So when we're looking at fixing bedtime or fixing routines, we always start at bedtime. But what we forget is what time your child woke up at that day. So that really sets the tone for the day. It's the anchor for our schedule. So if you have, let's say tonight you've watched this and you say, Sarah, I'm going to put little Jimmy to bed at 7 o'clock. I'm getting back on track. And you put him to bed at 7 and all of a sudden you've got like 2 hours of back and forth, bedtime battles, all the fights, and you're thinking, what have I done wrong? I did the calming routine, I did everything you asked for. but maybe he only got up at 8 a.m. that morning, right?
Yeah.
And so we need to look at, because he probably had a late night the night before. So we need to look at anchoring that day with a consistent wake up time to give them enough sleep pressure so that they fall asleep more easily at night. So for a kindergartner age kid or school age kid, we're looking at about 10 to 11 hours of overnight sleep. So you need to work that into your routine to make sure that they're getting an appropriate bedtime that's more natural for their bodies.
And that's why the work starts now.
Yes,
Sarah, thank you
exactly.
so much. These are
Thank
great
you.
tips and a lot of great advice for our parents
Thank you
out
for
there.
having
Thank
me.
you.